Friday, Shabbat Shalom, Miss Bakad. This is Morning Midday, YAHUAH ben Yashrael. I want to welcome you to another broadcast of Living Branch Hebrew Assembly. And you have just tuned in to us live. We want to thank you for tuning in. And we are always thankful to the Father, YAHUAH, for His graciousness towards us. I tell you, He's definitely awesome and merciful. There's none else like Him. And we're just so thankful for all that He shows and all that He does. And this is the broadcast for Living Branch Hebrew Assembly. And my email address is info@living-branch.org. We're reaching out globally. We have a witnessing website, which is yahuah.co. Our main website is living-branch.org. And hebrewfoundation.org is our auxiliary website. So, let's get started in prayer. Baruch Hashem Yahuwah. Bless the name of Yahuwah. Elohiym Melech Ha'olam. Father, we thank you for another Shabbat you have shown us. We ask you, Father, to give us clarity of mind, clarity of heart, clarity of spirit. Help us to be able to discern the things that are going on in our life. And I pray, Father, through this lesson that you would show us just how you work and give us the inside scoop. Help us, Father, to navigate. We say, Todah Rabbah, thank you very much for all that you're going to do. We thank you, Father, and believe that you shall show us and give us strength to continue this journey. In the name of Mashiach Yahushua, Hallel to Yahuwah. Amen. Okay, so let's look here, see what we're working with. Let me go back first. So today we're going to be going over, and he gave me this. I was yesterday afternoon. I was like, Father, I really need something. I don't want to just come up with my own stuff. I need something to give your people. So he gave me this. He, which is Yahuwah, put you there. So we're going to analyze this and look at this in Scripture. Now let me know, Miss Bakar, if you can hear me out there. Usually I see people in the chat box, but I don't see anybody yet that has responded. So let me know if you can hear me okay. And if you can see everything okay. Alrighty, so what we have here, I want to read this for you. The Father gave this to me as I began to, ask him what to teach. And he just, when I opened the Scripture, he just took me back to this. And I was like, okay, let's work this out. And I think this will be really helpful for many of us. So let's start in Bereshit of Genesis, the 2nd chapter, 7th verse. And YAHUAH Elohiym formed man of the dust of the earth, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So we're looking here. I just put the Hebrew up here so that you could see, what we're working with. We have Afar, Min, Ha, Adam, Ha, which is the Adam, Min. Adama, excuse me. So afar here is where he took us from, the dust of the earth. or the dust of the ground. So we were dust. And you look up, some of the places, it was like mortar. It's translated someplace mortar, powder. It's what a potter, remember he talks about he's the potter and we're the clay. It would be what the potter uses. And it's from the root word YAHUAH, which meaning either to be gray or perhaps rather polarized. Now, when you think of something gray, gray is considered more of a neutral color. So when he instilled in man, he gave man a will. So man he was created to be obedient to Torah, but because of the how he was created, he was also created that he could go the other direction. So you kind of can see where the gray part, if you wanted to think of it that way. This is just my thought process. So this is where we came from. We came from the dust of the ground, the dust of the earth. He breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Now, this is where we really get into what happened, because man was not created in the garden. That is where he put man. So we want to work on that a little bit more to bring some understanding there in what's in the garden and what it all entails. In the 8th verse, and YAHUAH Elohiym planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. So I want you to pay close attention to the order. Okay, he planted a garden. Notice where the garden was eastward in Eden. Then he put the man there. So notice here garden. We'll do planted first, which is natah, properly to strike in, to plant. Now, to fix. So this is where the garden, he fixed the place. In other words, anybody that's a gardener, you notice you have to make an indentation in the ground to plant your seed, to put it there. Okay. Now, also want you to notice what garden was. Garden is gone. And it comes from the root word to hedge. So this wasn't just an open space, but it was a place that the Father had outlined for man to be. Now, what's interesting is that he didn't just he placed them eastward. Now, when you start looking at different things in the Hebrew, like eastward is going to be an indication of righteousness. You're going to always see eastward or east associated with things that are righteous. And it's also the word you'll see antiquity and different other translation, ancient, that is translated as. So this is definitely a word we need to pay attention to. Kadim. Okay? Kadim. And it comes from Kadam. And it's a meeting place, usually for help. Now notice it can also be a place to flee. Now we know this was where he met, he communed with man, because we see in Genesis 3:8, and they heard the voice of YAHUAH Elohiym walking in the cool of the garden. Walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of YAHUAH Elohiym among the trees of the Gam, or the eights of the garden. So this was a place of communion, a place where his presence was, where the the voice, because it uses the voice of YAHUAH Elohiym was walking in the garden. So maybe one day we'll do a lesson on what is his voice. So he put man there, but I found something very interesting. We always see it. Now for Adon, Adon, I found that it was interesting that the root word for this, which was Adon, means pleasure, delight. It's translated as delicate, pleasure, delight, and it means pleasure. And what's so interesting, this was supposed to be a place of communion, a place of where you could feel his presence. But what's interesting for me is that he put man in this place. Okay, and you'll get where I'm going with this in a little bit. So this was a place he placed the man. Now, it says, and he put the man whom he had formed. He put him there in a place of communion, a place of pleasure, a place that's hedged around. Okay, a place of beauty. But what's interesting about the word put, that I thought, and it was two Hebrew words there, which was sum or seem. Now, what I did a analysis there. Okay, you have the shin, the wa, some call it the uavav, and then the mem. That's a final mem right there, mem safik. So if you were to look at it, it's teeth, a tent peg, and water. So he put him there, and in there, there's supposed to be consume the connecting chaos, would be how I would pictographically interpret this. Consume connecting chaos. Consume chaos connecting, if you want to do it that way. And even if we use the other Hebrew word, seem, it would still be consume hand chaos, or consume chaos hand. So ask yourself, where was the chaos? Because he put man there. And how would man consume this connecting chaos or destroy the connecting chaos? How would he do that? And what was the chaos that was in the garden? So, you know, when I grabbed that, I was like, okay, Father, I see where you're going with this. So even where he puts us, there is chaos connected to it. And there is a way for us to destroy the hand of chaos or the connecting chaos. That's what Adam was put there to do, and we're going to find out how he does this later on. But I want you to look at what where you are right now, or where you have been, different situations. There was a methodology, according to Torah, how you can destroy the chaos that was connected in your situation. See, it didn't mean the chaos would not exist, because it did exist in your situation. But there is a way for you to destroy or consume the connecting chaos or the hand of chaos. Okay, If I seem a little excited, forgive me, but that's just how it does. So I want you to ask yourself, where was the chaos in the garden? So let's go and read. Out of the ground made YAHUAH Elohiym to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life also was in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. That's your chaos right there. So this is the tree, the eights, that we're supposed to destroy, that's connected. But the question is, how do you destroy it? And probably a more suitable question would be, do you want to destroy? Some people like the chaos that they connected to because it feeds them. But see, you don't want to feed you don't want to feed you. There's something that the Father put in you that you have to feed. Okay, let's keep going. So what was set before? They had two things. He placed them in a place of pleasure, but in communion, but also connected to that was chaos, or the hand of chaos was there. And he put them there to destroy it. So we have the tree of life, which produces life, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which produces chaos. So let's look at some places, because this was set. This is even in every situation that you go through or experience in life. You're going to have this set up. Okay? You're going to have a part that if you're obedient, it's going to produce a certain thing. But then you have another faction working that's trying to produce chaos. And whichever one you feed, that's the one that's going to live. But if you feed from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you're going to have chaos. And if you feed from the tree of life, you're going to get life. So this two-thing scenario has always been since the garden. And even when they came into the promised land, and even when they were out in the wilderness, you see this setup. And the setup is no different today for us. There's a choice. So you're created neutral, gray. Now you have a choice. You can pick life or you can pick death. You can pick blessing or cursing. Okay, Deuteronomy 4:8. And what nation is there so great that has statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law, which I set before you this day? So notice that this is before them. Okay, then Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 26. Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. Deuteronomy 11:32. And you shall observe to do all the statutes and judgments which I set before you this day. Now look here. Deuteronomy 30:19. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, the tree of knowledge, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, the tree of life, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, a blessing or a curse. Therefore, choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. So this theme has gone on all through the Tanakh, continued over into the Brit Hadashah, and continues even in us in our scenarios. the choices we make, what's before us, he puts you in the situation. See, we think situations happen by chance. But look at all the things that the different patriarchs experienced. Look at what Joseph went through. Look at what Moses or Moshe went through. Look at what YAHUAH Joshua went through. Look at Gideon. Look at David. Look at Shaul. Look at all the different kings. All of them had set before them this choice. The blessing or the curse. Life or death. Even today, you have it in your situation. And you were put in a situation. Remember, consume or destroy the connecting chaos or the hand of chaos. That's what you're supposed to do. And when we go through things, if we would keep this mindset of what we're supposed to be doing, we're put in these situations to destroy the connecting chaos or the hand of chaos. Because his word, his Torah, it brings order. It brings life. It causes chaos to shrink. Even the word shalom, when you do analysis of it, you destroying chaos. That's how if you want to get shalom, destroy the chaos or peace. Okay, let's look at Jeremiah 26, verse 4. And thou shalt say unto them, thus saith Yahuwah, if you would not hearken to me to walk in my law, which I have set before you, to hearken to the words of my servants, the prophets, whom I send unto you, both rising up early and sending them, but you have not hearkened. Then will I make this house like Shiloh, and make the city a curse to all the nations of the earth. Jeremiah 44:10. They are not humble even unto this day, neither have they feared, nor walked in my law, nor in my statutes, that I set before you and before your fathers. So we've got these choices set before us. And this is what we need to do. We need to decide, are we going to destroy the chaos or are we embracing the chaos? So we already know that the tree of life, the way you abide there is through obedience. And the tree of knowledge of good and evil is disobedience to the word of Elohiym. So it's a choice. And we see things happening in the world today. I mean, it's just getting crazy. As far as them blurring, when we talk about blurring the lines of gender, they're even doing shows now. I think her name is Kate Curry. They're doing a show where they're blurring the lines. So people are being swayed to think a certain way. Now, let's look at some places where we talk about the tree of life or obedience to Torah. What does it do? Devarim chapter 30, verse 20. That thou mayest love Yahuwah thy Elohiym, and that thou mayest obey his voice. Remember, the Mashiach said, if you love me, do what? Keep my commandments. That's in St. John 14, verse 15. And it says, and the length of thy days, that thou mayest cleave unto him, for he is thy life, and the length of thy days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which Yahuwah swore unto thy fathers, unto Abraham, unto Yitzchak, unto Yaakov, to give them. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 1. My son, forget not my law, Torah, but let thy heart keep my commandments, for length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Now, if you don't keep them, if you decide rather to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, it's going to do the exact opposite. It shortens your days. It shortens your life. It doesn't give you length of days. It shortens your life. It creates chaos. That's what it's going to add to you. Now, let's look at the operation. Because when we're talking about chaos, you got to know where this chaos operates and where it comes from. Okay, and 1 John 2:16 does a great job of giving us the three categories that you will see in Bereshit chapter 3 when the serpent was talking to YAHUAH. Okay, it says, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. So this is where the chaos works and accumulates and builds to get you to walk in the spirit of error or the spirit of disobedience. The lust of your flesh, the lust of your eyes, and the pride of life. Those are the three areas. And I believe I did a lesson on those on YouTube, so you can go back and check that out. And I didn't include it, but maybe we'll go back and just look briefly at them in Bereshit 3. Okay, but why did he put you there? Okay, this is addressed right there. Why did he put you where he put you? See, they used to have this old saying that you could take heaven and turn it into hell by how you think. So we've definitely got to work on our thought processes when we go through things. You know, because sometimes we think the situations that we go through are so hard, so just squeezing the very life out of us. And yes, that's what it probably does. But it's there for a reason. It's there to bring you closer to the Father. So what happens when we're in a situation? We're either going to gravitate closer and start eating more from the tree of life, or we're going to start picking off of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil because it's appealing to our fleshly sense. You know, it's good to us. We see it can increase us. Where the thing that really increases us and sustains us is his word. Now notice what he did. And YAHUAH Elohiym took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. Abad. Okay. Abid is the word for servant. Abad is the root word. Okay. It means to work, to serve, to till. Now, depending on how you think, See, that's where I get in. You could think it's enslavement. You could think it's bondage. But if you have the right mindset, you will see it as a blessing. Because you realize who you're serving and why you're serving. So you're addressing it. And notice it's an ayin, a bet, and a dalet. See door of house. Or see door house. That's how I did it. See, then we got a door, that's a dalet, house. So serving, my goodness, which a lot of people don't like to do, is a part of being in his house. That's the door of the house. How do I know this? And the Father just giving me revelatory stuff as we speak. Because Mashiach said he didn't come to be served, but to serve. And what instructions did he give his disciples, his Talmudim? He told them, he who is greatest among you, let him be the servant. Isn't that what he said? It's so amazing because people don't want to serve anymore. You know, everybody wants to be on the high lamb. I won't say high hog because we're talking to Hebrew, so we're going to say high on the lamb. But if we would just grasp some of this stuff and see that this is the eye, see the door of the house, serving, to serve. To serve YAHUAH Elohiym, to love him with all your heart. See, this man, I tell you, thank you, Father. He deserves all credit for this lesson. This is totally just not, me personally. When I say he gets the credit for putting this together, somebody needed this lesson. And it's going to help them. So, I mean, I'm just, thank you, Father. Now, let's go on to the next part, to keep it. Shamar, to hedge around, to guard, to protect. Now, look at some other ways it's translated. Be circumspect. Take heed. Wait for. Now, isn't that amazing? Now, notice what this one does. You've seen the door here to serve. Now over here, to keep, a shin, a mem, a resh. Destroy, head, chaos. So all of this involves destroying where chaos is coming from. And all of our chaos comes when we look to and eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So we've got to shamar and abad. We've got to do those things. So this is what we have to see. This is why he put us there. So we're not going to end right here. I want to go and look briefly over here for us. Let's go to Bereshit chapter 3. Okay, now we notice that the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, it was there in the garden. Okay, the word, the seed of the serpent, was there in the midst of the garden. Just like all the parables that you see Mashiach was telling, we know that this good seed, where that came from the Son of Man. But the enemy had a seed also that he planted. Okay, and we've been over this, but I just think it's important because we might have new hearers that might not have been over this. Okay, we've got to make sure, men, that you're operating, because when he put you there, remember he put Adam there, then he pulled YAHUAH out of his side. So we've got to make sure that we're taking a leading role in our homes and not just sitting back and letting things happen. Because this is the scenario you see here in the garden. He was given the commandment to dress it and keep it, to serve and to guard. And he should be passing along to his Isha, his wife, and they should be doing it together. So when he saw this interaction, he should have stepped in, but he didn't. So what I want to do is not so much, it's not blame, because they were supposed to have dominion together. So they went down together. So the first thing you've got to watch here is when you get in situations, the questions that come your way, because there has to be an enticement for you not to obey YAHUAH Elohiym if you know his commandments. Okay, and the serpent is crafty. Nakash. Nahash. He's crafty. And you look here. First thing he starts questioning. He asks the woman, "You shall not eat of every tree." Yea, has Elohim said, "You should not eat of every tree of the garden"? So this question, these questions that come your way, if you're not rooted and grounded, it's going to throw you off course. When you're in situations, the questions that are flung to you mentally and that come to you, you have to be prepared to answer. And when I say prepared to answer, even if you're saying, "I'm waiting on the Father," you got it, because remember, one of the translations was wait. And the woman said to the serpent, "We may eat of the fruit of the tree of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim has said, you should not eat it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die." Okay, now here comes the enticement. And the serpent said unto the woman, "You shall not surely die." So in other words, he's telling you that what the Father said isn't true. The Father didn't give you all truth. He just gave you a part, and he's holding something back from you. For Elohim doth know in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes will be open. Then your eyes shall be open, and you shall be mighty ones, knowing good and evil. So this provoked something in the woman. And where's the man? He's right there with her, but he didn't step up and say, hold on. Wait a minute. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, lust of the eyes, it was pleasant to the eyes. Remember, we had three: lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, and pride of life. It was pleasant, and that it was pleasant to the eyes. A tree to be desired to make one wise. This is the pride of life. Then we have the lust of the flesh. She took. So the enemy always operates through these three mechanisms that I've talked to you before about. Remember, if you don't remember nothing else I've told you during this lesson, he put you there. I want you to say it to yourself. He put me there. Why did he put you there? To destroy the connecting chaos. So what you've got to do now, your task is simple. You have got to find the chaos in your life and destroy it by being obedient to the word of Elohiym. This is how you destroy the chaos. Through obedience, through serving, through guarding, keeping the word of Elohiym. And what gives you strength is when you go back and you look at others that have worked and had to destroy the chaos in their life. Because chaos comes from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. All of us will experience it. I've experienced it. Other Morays have experienced it. You will experience it. The question is, how do you destroy it? It says, how shall a young man cleanse his ways? By taking heed to thy word. So what I want to do, because many identify and see and think that what they're going through, as long as you aren't operating in sin, then you'll be fine. You'll come out. Now, if you're experiencing what you're experiencing because of disobedience, then now we got to go a different avenue. You got to repent and turn and embrace his commandments. But if you've been put there and you're being tested and tried, hold fast to the word of Elohiym. Know it's for a reason. Joseph didn't understand all that he had dreams. The dreams, I believe, he reflected on, and it helped him to see his way. When he was in prison, when he was taken away from his family, when he was accused falsely, he went through a lot. And his obedience eventually destroyed that chaos that happened to him. But the chaos was for a reason. It was to get him prepared for what he was going to be and what he was going to do. So don't discount what you're going through. It's preparing you for greater. Knowing that the trying of our faith worketh patience. Let patience have her perfect work, that you might be complete, not wanting anything. That's in the book of YAHUAH or James. So we got to realize, once we destroy this chaos, it's always going to be stuff that comes. But we got to continue to abide in obedience and just continue to destroy the chaos that rises and get stronger and stronger. So I pray that you understand the lesson. I pray that you comprehend, and that I pray that this lesson helps you, because that's what the Father gives me, lessons to help people. So let's pray, Miss Bakah. Baruch Hashem Yahuwah Elohiym Melech Haolam. Father, thank you, Todah Rabbah, for this lesson. I pray this lesson, Father, would empower somebody to walk and act in obedience. That they, Father, will see that the situations and circumstances they're put there so that they can destroy the chaos. By being obedient, it destroys and uproots all chaos that might be in the midst of us. Because the enemy is always trying to plant this seed of doubt in us. But Father, through obedience, our faith swells. And through Messiah, you told us we have the faith the size of a mustard seed. We can say unto the mountain, be thou removed and cast into the midst of the sea, and it'll happen. Father, we say Todah, because we are just striving to be obedient and to follow you and to do as you say. Father, we thank you. I thank you for Miss Bakah being strengthened. I thank you for everyone under the sound of my voice, that they will be empowered today to destroy the chaos in their situation that's right there in the place where you're trying to commune with them, in the place where you've planted them, you've put them, the thing you created. Chaos saw its way in, but it's going to have to see its way out, because we are going to be obedient to your word. We say Todah Rabbah, Father, for another blessed lesson. In the name of Mashiach Yahushua, Hallel to Yahuwah. Amen. All right, Miss Bakah, we know Passover and it's coming. It's right around the corner. Pesach's right around the corner. So, hey, get your kids prepared. You can get the Hebrew 10 Commandments in paperback or Kindle. You can also get the Hebrew Passover story for your children. And walk them through the story. Give them pictures. Explain the pictures. Sit down and talk to them about the pictures. It's very helpful for your children. Children learn by seeing and hearing and what you're showing them. If you haven't already joined our bookmarker witnessing team, you can go to www.bm.hebrewfoundation.org. And if you would like to help us in our endeavor, in our broadcast and bookmarkers, you can do it by mail right here, or you can do it by PayPal, or you can do it online with our online giving tool, which will bring you here. So you can put in your information. You can give credit card, savings accounts, all that stuff. It'll let you do. And it also will, if you register, it will keep a record for the end of the year, just in case you want to use it during tax time, for those of us that use it during that season. So, Todah, Father, for He, Yahuwah, put you there. So I pray that you will diligently continue to seek the Father and to do His will. And I encourage you, if you haven't, you can go over to our website and download our download the calendar for the upcoming feast days and year. And, we all can be in sync. And also there's an immersion list over there of people across the country that can do immersions. So if you need to get immersed, you can find someone close to you. All right, this is Morey Medad Yahu Ben Yashriel. And don't forget to tune in this afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to Morey Lamad Yahu, The Path to Yahuwah, their broadcast. And we'll be fellowshipping, and we hope to see, if you're not there physically, to see you online. He's got several different platforms, so make sure you join us. And we love you, Miss Bakar. And we just pray that the Father continue to build and grow you so that you can be ready when he comes. All right, this is Morey Medad Yahu Ben Yashriel saying unto you, Shabbat Shalom.